the glucose blunt protocol. How to eat carbs without damaging your arteries. The glucose blunt protocol. The hook, the area under the curve AUC. The standard approach to metabolic health is fundamentally flawed and scientifically reductive. You are told to eliminate carbohydrates entirely, to live in a state of constant restriction, and to fear every gram of glucose. But biology doesn't require perfection. It requires management and sequencing. The damage to your longevity isn't caused by the food itself, but by the magnitude and frequency of the postprandial glucose spike. Every time your blood sugar skyrockets, your system undergoes a period of acute oxidative stress and microvascular scarring. Today, we are decoding the glucose blunt protocol, a series of high-density biological interventions that allow you to maintain metabolic sovereignty while still utilizing carbohydrates as a strategic fuel source. We are moving beyond the dieting mindset and into the realm of biochemical engineering. Section 1. The mechanism of damaged internal caramelization to master your glucose. You must first understand the invisible war happening in your endothelium. When glucose levels rise sharply, the excess sugar molecules begin a spontaneous, non-enzymatic reaction with proteins and fats occurring inside your living tissues. The result is the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs. Think of AGEs as internal caramelization. They turn flexible, youthful proteins like the collagen in your skin and the elastin in your arteries into stiff, brittle structures. This is most devastating in your endothelium, the one-cell-thick inner lining of your blood vessels. Glycation triggers a cascade of inflammatory cytokines and paralyzes your vessels' ability to produce nitric oxide, leading to hypertension and permanent vascular decay. While most people focus on their average blood sugar, HbA1c, the latest clinical data from 2025 suggests that glycemic variability, the volatility of your spikes, is a far more accurate predictor of biological aging. The goal of this protocol is to flatten the curve and minimize the area under the curve AUC to protect your vascular architecture. Section 2. Step 1. Biochemical sequencing, the incretin effect. The most powerful tool in this protocol is the order of ingestion. Clinical studies demonstrate that changing the sequence of a meal can reduce the resulting glucose spike by up to 75% and the insulin response by 50%. The sequence is an architectural requirement. Fiber first, protein and fats second, starches and sugars last. The fiber mesh. When you ingest green vegetables, fiber first. It creates a viscous mesh or lattice in your small intestine. This slows down the gastric emptying rate and creates a physical barrier that prevents the rapid transit of glucose into the bloodstream. The L cell signal. This sequence also stimulates the L cells in your gut to secrete GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1. This endogenous hormone prepares the pancreas for a controlled insulin release, preventing the system shock that occurs when you lead with a naked starch. This is the difference between a controlled release and a systemic explosion. Section 3. Step 2. The acetic acid hack, enzymatic deactivation. Before your largest or most carbohydrate-heavy meal, you must utilize acetic acid, most commonly found in apple cider vinegar. When consumed 10 to 20 minutes before ingestion, acetic acid targets the alpha-malase enzyme. Alpha-malase is responsible for breaking down complex starches into simple sugars. By temporarily deactivating this enzyme, glucose enters the blood at a pace your body can manage. Furthermore, acetic acid upregulates AMPK in the liver and signals the muscles to increase GLUT4 expression, essentially turning your muscles into a vacuum for incoming sugar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar in a tall glass of water is a biological insurance policy against metabolic scarring. Section 4. Step 3. Muscle. As a non-insulin glucose, sink your skeletal muscle is your largest metabolic organ. It is a glucose sinkhole. Under normal, sedentary conditions, your body requires high levels of insulin to open the gates, GLUT, for transporters to allow sugar to enter the muscle. However, there is a bypass. Physical contraction of the muscle triggers non-insulin-mediated glucose uptake. It's a protocol. A 10 to 15-minute walk immediately following a meal. By engaging the large muscle groups of the legs, you are physically pulling glucose out of your bloodstream to fuel the movement. This prevents the sugar from circulating long enough to cause glycation or be stored in ectopic fat depots. The alternative, if you are in a boardroom and cannot walk, 10 minutes of soleus pushes calf raises while seated or air squats will trigger the same metabolic clearance. You are using movement to mop up the spike before it can do damage. Section 5. Step 4. AMPK, activation and dehydroborine. For those looking for the ultimate metabolic edge, we'll look to the AMPK pathway. Adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase is the body's master metabolic switch. When AMPK is active, the body shifts from storage mode to repair and burn mode. The most effective activator of this pathway is berberine, specifically in its dehydroborberine DHB form, which offers 5x the bioavailability of standard berberine, taken 15 minutes before a meal. DHB mimics the effects of pharmaceutical interventions like metformin by improving insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. Inhibiting gluconeogenesis, the liver's production of excess sugar, inducing a mild mitochondrial uncoupling that forces the cell to use more energy. It is the chemical safety net for the individual who cannot always control their food sources. Section 6. The cognitive dividend beyond the arteries. Why is this protocol vital for the 1%? Because of the postprandial dip. Every massive glucose spike is followed by a reactive hypoglycemia, an equal and opposite crash. This crash is the primary cause of 3 p.m. brain fog, irritability, and executive function failure. By blunting the spike, you eliminate the crash. You gain 4 to 6 hours of additional cognitive peak time every single day. You aren't just protecting your arteries, you are upgrading your daily productivity and mental clarity. Conclusion. Reclaiming metabolic sovereignty, the glucose blunt protocol is the foundation of biological autonomy. It proves that you do not have to be a victim of your food environment. By mastering sequencing, utilizing acetic acid, leveraging muscle contraction, and activating the AMPK pathway, you take the code of nutrition and rewrite it for performance. However, even a perfect metabolic profile can be undermined if your internal power plants are failing. If your mitochondria are inefficient, your body cannot turn that managed glucose into actual energy. In our next session, we will decode the mitochondrial engine, analyzing how to use deliberate cold and heat exposure to force your cells to regenerate from the inside out. Leave a comment with the word sovereign if you are ready to take control of your metabolic flow. Like this video if you value science over hype, and subscribe to join the 1%. The code is biological. The mastery is yours.